Hey everybody, Anish Majumdar here, career coach of the Fiercely Ambitious, and I wanted to give you some specialized training that will help you do better with every possible interviewer out there and maximize the odds of you being perceived as the one and only solution for what ails them. Okay? Now, before I get into this, and please have a notepad and a pen handy, because I promise you, I'm not saying this just to hear myself talk. I'm doing it because I want you to do better. And I want this balance, which is totally unequal right now, between corporate interests and weak, subservient job seekers. I want to equalize this, okay? So you better be ready to put this stuff into action, because that's where I'm coming from, okay? So before I do that, let's just start with a little caveat here. You will not be able, there's no coach, there's no training, it's BS if it is, okay? There is no coach or training program ever that will show you how to be the right fit for everyone. That doesn't exist. Okay? The old adage, stand for something or fall for everything, is absolutely true. The minute you have a point of view, the minute you have a skill set and expertise, a way of solving the problem, there's going to be people who are going to be receptive to that, people who are not going to be receptive to that, and people in the middle. And the better you get, the more of the people in the middle you can attract, because the people who would get it are going to get it no matter what, right? So that's where the game lies. But understand, there is no people pleasing here. And I think it's such a huge problem that so many job seekers fall into. You know, when you're at work, you're doing what you're doing. You're leading your people, you're leading your team. The prospect of saying no, you don't hesitate to say that, right? Here's an alternative. Here's what we could do. But somehow we say, oh, I'm a job seeker. Now it's yes to everything. Now it's basically the interviewer is the parent, I'm the child, and I do whatever you tell me to, right? So understand, no's are fine. Not getting along with everyone is fine. Having some opportunities that you would be miserable at, having them go away is fine. Now, let's talk about the people who are in that middle, and let's talk about the people who are going to love you and be receptive. How do you make them more of that quicker, faster, so you can get what you need, i.e. the offer, right? So a couple of tips. Number one, have a plan. You cannot come across as the right fit for any role or opportunity unless you go into that interview room with a concrete plan. And here's a way to think about it. Is the conversation moving from a logical place into an emotional place, shorthand, and right into the pain of what's going on? Are we getting more and more clarity into what's really going on behind the scenes, what the real pain is that is happening at this company, the thing that is inspiring this hire? Or are we still stuck on the surface level, talking about hi, hello, getting to know you, trading accomplishments from 5 years ago, thinking that that's going to convince whatever you've got is that the right answer? If you're struggling with that, the chances are you're going in there and you don't have a plan, right? A plan is not a sequence of things to move through. A plan can be as simple as a set of questions that you bring in there, right? But they got to cover all the bases. And you got to think about all of the different ways you do what you do, how not having that is manifesting across the company. If you're in marketing, guess what? The questions you have in going into the interview room cannot and should not only be about marketing. It should be about figuring out what this company looks like without anyone handling that. That means culture has taken a hit. That means talent acquisition and retention has taken a hit. That means decision-making in terms of where we go has taken a hit. That means morale, all of these things, right? At every level, it's all fodder for you to activate through your questions. Also, coming in with a plan like that, it shows a couple of things. A, you're an expert in your own right. B, you have to do way less convincing and yapping, which never convinces anyone about how great you are. Your questions are doing the heavy lifting for you. Think about it. You're at a doctor's office. What proves that doctor's credentials? Nothing more than this. The quality of the questions he or she asks, correct? Use the same approach there. Have a plan, okay? Number two, avoid the early yes, okay? Here's another way to say that is don't be afraid of an early no, right? Avoid the early yes. Are you looking for a job? Why don't you send me the resume? Look, this is not a job search conversation. Here's what I want to do. I want to see if I can help. I want to see if we can start talking about what's really going on and move it from there. What are your salary requirements? I don't think we're there yet. I think we need to get some more real clarity on those 3 to 5 major areas that are driving this. And then I think we can happily talk about what a fix, what an offer would look like, Avoid committing to an early yes. The longer you delay that, the more you're sending a very clear signal. I am here for one reason: to solve the highest pain that I can and to make sure to the best of my ability we have all the information that we need to make an educated decision and move forward quickly. That's it. That's it. I'm not here to trade resumes. I'm not here to trade LinkedIn invites. I'm not here to waste my time. And the biggest way someone, is going to be able to see through that is if you acquiesce to these early yeses. Remember, everything is a negotiation. An interview is one giant negotiation. Every question that can be asked can either be answered directly, indirectly, you can pivot it. There's a million things that you can do, right? So avoid the early yes. There are no early commitments. There are no early things that you're pigeonholing yourself into. You are interested in A, getting to the truth of what's going on, which means information gathering on that first interview, and B, using what you've gathered as the leverage towards the offer. Everything outside of that is a waste of time. Number 3, stand for impact above all else. They're going to try to perhaps, although almost guaranteed in some way, they're going to try to commoditize you. They're going to try to say, okay, you're similar to this, you're similar to that. I don't know if that's enough there. Let them play their games, okay? You stand for one thing and one thing only. If I'm in marketing, I'm standing for getting absolutely real about the fact that 95% of the people in your industry are not even going to be here a year or two from now, let alone survive. And B, are you in that 5%? That is my interest. What is this company going to look like on the other side of this solve? You, right? How are all of the ways in which that is going to absolutely go through the roof? That is what I stand for. I will always go back to that impact. I will always go back to that root need, because that root need is the truth. If I start playing in the weeds, or I start playing amongst the pigs, in terms of, oh yeah, no, you're right, and yeah, I have a couple of years there, now I'm stuck. Now my whole value proposition is crumbling, right? You have to look at these things as a test, okay? Your balls, your brilliance, your courage is meeting a test. You've got to show yourself worthy through your behavior and your responses. Not just bending over and people pleasing. That's not going to get anything. You'll have a nice surface interaction and then nothing's going to go. Give me awkwardness anytime if we're getting to a real place, because I know that's moving towards an outcome. The other is not. And what am I here to do? Get the outcome, right? So stand for impact above all else. However you respond to those challenge questions, bring it back to the impact. Bring it back on what has gone wrong to get you here and how that is not changing, and how you have full faith and confidence in your ability to do your proprietary process, your methodology, your way to solve it where others did not. You have no doubts about that, right? You have to keep coming back to that and be a broken record about that. Okay, finally, when you meet resistance in an interview, I want you to remember this. They can say anything that they want, okay? About oh, you don't have enough years here. We were really preferring to hire 2 months from now versus right now. This is a little too fast. We don't really do that. Whatever it is. Okay, once you've gotten to a place where you've asked those questions and you started to really understand what is going on there, and hopefully you're taking it personally, like you're thinking, wow, if this is my first day, would I stand for this? What would happen? If resistance starts popping up, remember this, it's either because they're not committed enough to actually solving the problem. In other words, they're this, they're talking the talk without ever being interested in walking the walk. Look at how many companies out there are hiring for diversity and inclusion in HR that have no real interest in fundamentally changing things. Things are pretty good here. We got to make a show, you know what I mean? Bring someone on board, let them sit in their office, collect their paycheck, sometimes 6-figure paycheck, but please don't actually do your job. You know what I mean? You don't want that anyway, right? And so it's better to figure that out and realize they're not committed. Or here's the other reason why resistance can pop up. They're not yet convinced that what you are positing, what you are suggesting is the one and only way forward. In which case, as resistance pops up, you should be hitting one of those two things. That's all you should be thinking about hitting, okay? Are they committed enough? Do they have full faith and certainty that my way is the best way, okay? Forget about, again, don't take the bait of small level, low level thinking and resistance. You go high. Remember that old quote from Michelle Obama, I believe, they go low, we go high. In an interview, you go high. You stand for the high. Your value, your money, your compensation, how quickly you rise is all tied into your ability to do that. So never lose track of that. Now, if you want to take this further, if you want to go deeper down the rabbit hole of the kind of career advice that actually makes sense, where you need to go right now is helloanish.com, HELLOANISH.com. I've got new videos, a masterclass you can take, everything you need to take this further. Don't sit on your laurels, make that move. Have a great day.